Hello my art-loving friends! In today's video I bought a bunch of Rosa Gallery watercolors. I will show you all 3 sets that I got and I'll tell you why I got them and what I plan to do with them. Let's get started. This here is the Rosa Gallery set I already have, and these are the colors inside, and this is what it looks like so far. And then when Amazon was having their super sale on Rosa Gallery watercolors, I picked up these 3 sets. I'm not intending to keep all of them because I am on an art supply no-buy. It's self-imposed, however, so I can still buy whatever I want whenever I want, but I had a reason for going on the no-buy. We'll get into that later. Let's take a look at these sets. This is the monopigmented set. It comes with 21 colors and a nice blue tin like this. And this is what it looked like when I got it. So they don't have the pans snapped in, or if they did, they came unsnapped during shipping. Not a big deal. They're still in the right order, or at least the order that the factory put them in, and they're beautiful, and I love them. So monopigmented means that every pan in here is made up with just one single pigment. And here are the colors in the monopigmented set. The current price for this monopigmented set is $31, plus you would have to pay $6.99 in shipping. And I got it for $22.99 and free shipping. So that's about $1 a pan. Very good deal. The next set we have is this Rosa Gallery Modern set. It also has 21 colors, so same amount of colors as this one, but this one comes with a tin twice as large. Here's the difference in the sizes here. If I open this one up, that's what that looks like. That's the mess it came. It's fine. You have to take them all out in order to unwrap them anyway. So the colors in the Modern set are here. Quite a few really cool ones as usual. So the current price on this Modern set is $24 plus $6.99 shipping. So you can't get it for free shipping currently, but it is still a great deal at $24. Unfortunately, that shipping adds that little extra cost in there. However, this one I got for $23 in free shipping. So basically, I saved myself $8 over what the price is today. And again, it's just over $1 per pan plus the tin. We're not even taking into account the tin, which is basically free. And then I picked this up. This has 24 colors. Now, the difference with this one is it does not come in a tin. It just comes in a box, a huge box. And today, the price on Amazon shows $15 with a $6.99 delivery fee. So I think the big deal with the sale was that they had free shipping. Plus, it was still slightly discounted over today's price. I paid $13.64 plus free shipping. So for 24 colors and $13, you know what a steal of a deal that was. And these are kind of neat because you can take these out by grabbing the areas they made for that, and you just push on the back side of the plastic and it pops the little pans out. It's really handy. So I spent a total of just under $60 for 66 watercolor pans. And yes, there are a ton of duplicates in here, but what there aren't duplicates of is 13 colors I don't have in this set. Yes, that leaves me a lot of extra colors, but I have a plan for those. In the monopigmented set, all the colors up here are ones that I don't have in my current watercolor collection, and these 2 I only have in almost empty half pans. Of course, I do have the magenta rose in the tube here, so that one probably doesn't really count, but if I want to just leave things simple and have it in this pan, I can use that. So lots of colors in here, not duplicates with my set already. Let's move on to the next set. Real quick before I do that, these both came with a titanium white, and one of these 2 sets on Amazon, if you look at the color chart, was supposed to come with a zinc white, and I didn't get a zinc white here, so I'm one less duplicate than I thought, sadly. Now, as a whole, as a complete set, if I didn't have this other one where I've already pulled out new colors to me, this would have a ton of colors that were not duplicates in my set. But if I overlap this set with the set we just pulled out, I have 5 additional colors that I can put in my set. And I'll show you all these colors in a bit, but there's some really exciting ones in this set. And now when we pull in the 3rd set, there are only 2 additional colors that I wouldn't have. So I apparently counted all wrong. Even if I take out the 2 where I have little tiny pans of them, I still have 15 new colors, which is even more exciting than I thought. So 17, if I put in these full pans of these other colors, which I definitely will with the cobalt turquoise. I'm thinking with the magenta rose, I may just fill up a full pan because I don't want it to dry out in the tube. I never mind having a white in my palette because it lets me create beautiful pastel colors when I want them. So here are all the existing colors. If you want to just pause and look at that. It's a great selection of colors. When I add in the new colors, this is going to be an amazingly complex large palette, but it's going to be fun. So the new colors are titanium white, cadmium yellow medium, flame red, bright green, bright blue, quinacridone gold, very excited for that one, bright red, cobalt turquoise, chromium oxide, magenta rose, that's not really a new color, but same difference, golden yellow, cadmium red medium, Mars brown, raw sienna, blue indanthrene, I'm really excited about that one, turquoise, and burnt umber. Lots of new colors. This is exciting. Now, in order for them to fit in the palette, I obviously am not going to be able to use the metal clips that came with this because there's only room for 5 more full pans and 1 half pan in here. So I need to pull off the metal clips and arrange my pans just on this flat metal plate. Just in case you've never seen that process of pulling off the metal, I'll show that to you real quick, but I did pull out all the pans, obviously, and then you just kind of have to pull at these metal inserts, and sometimes it takes pliers to pull on them, but you see that one just popped off just fine. And it is these tiny little kind of rivets that hold them together, but it doesn't leave a very big dent, so the pans can just sit right on top of that. So I'll pull the rest of these off just by yanking, and I do save these, but I've never ever put them back in, so it's probably pointless to save them. So one mistake I made when I first got these watercolors, up there, they came wrapped, was that I took the whole label off. I didn't realize that you could leave part of the label on, and I hand wrote all the pigment information and pigment name on there. And you don't have to do that. So let me show you with this Mars Brown, for example. If you just peel that off and come across the top like that, it peels the barcode, the top off, but you can leave these sides on. And it did leave a little extra paper there that I may try and get off on each edge. But now the pigment name and number are there for you, the light fast information, transparency, and all the actual pigments. And you don't have to write that on there. And the bottom of the pan has their name, so you know which brand it is just by that. I'm going to swatch the new colors for you, but then I did add in my own yellow ochre here because I want to compare this to the raw sienna, and having those side by side would be neat. Plus, I have an extra slot here that would need to be filled if I didn't swatch that. I've covered the white square there, or white rectangle, with black Sharpie, but sometimes black Sharpie bleeds, especially when it's put down fresh, so I'm going to give that some time to sit. We're going to start with this one. We'll put some water down here. See if it reacts to water when it hits water, like if it really flows into the water, and Rosa Gallery watercolors usually do. They're a lot like Core. They remind me of Core paints, and then I reactivated this already because I was talking to you guys and made a mistake though and had to redo it. So anyway, they re-wet like a dream. You can see how beautifully pigmented they are. And when that one hit water, it moved a little bit, not excessive. And sometimes I go over swatches twice. I don't really feel like that's fully necessary here with these because they're already so strong, but we'll see how it works as we go down the list. And I usually put salt on the right side when I do my swatching just to see if it has any effect, and it also makes it look pretty. I wasn't going to do that today, but the swatch seems kind of boring without it, so I guess we will. This next one here is golden yellow, and you can see just how easily these re-wet. This is a PY110 3-star light fast rating, transparent, and absolutely beautiful. This might be one of my favorite new colors for sure. And I'll be zooming in here in a minute so you'll be able to see these up a little bit closer. This one here is quinacridone gold, and because it's a 3 pigment color, I think that's why it's not so vibrant as many other brands. It's PY151, PY42, and PR264. Still a pretty color, just a little more muted than you see in other brands' Quin Golds. This is a 3-star light fast rating, and it's transparent. Here we have Raw Sienna. This is a PBR7 and a PY42. This one doesn't move a whole lot when it hits the water. It is 3-star light fast rating and it's semi-transparent. It's a nice color. It is more brown leaning than some other brands' Raw Siennas, but that's not a bad thing because sometimes that's exactly the color you need. As I mentioned before, this yellow ochre is not new to my palette, but I had the empty slot for it here on the swatch sheet, so we're putting it on here. Their yellow ochre is a PY43 and a PY42 with 3-star light fast rating, and they consider it semi-transparent, and it's a very pretty yellow ochre actually. There are some yellow ochres I don't like because they're too brown, and this one is leaning more towards yellow, so I do really enjoy it. So we moved right along to bright green here. This is PY151 and PG7. Moves a lot when it hits water. It's quite stunning. 3-star light fast rating and fully transparent. Next, we get to see this stunning green. This is chromium oxide. It's a PG17 highly granulating, 3-star light fast rating, and they consider this one opaque. You can see how well it moved in water. You can see how much granulation it has. It is fairly low tinting, although you can see there with that second layer, you can get a good bit of color on the paper. Oh, this next color is one I'm so in love with in every brand. Cobalt Turquoise PB28, 3-star light fast rating, semi-transparent. It's just stunning, and because it's a cobalt, it's highly granulating, and you feel like it's low tinting at first. That's like every true cobalt kind of feels that way, but you get just a beautiful color payout. This one here is the turquoise, and it is a PB15:3 and a PG7, 3-star light fast rating, and it's transparent. And really, I only needed one coat with this one. I did maybe dab on a second coat, like a little bit there in the mass tone. Didn't really need it, but thought it might be useful for you guys to see a little bit more heavy pigment. Moving into one of my favorite colors, Blue Indanthrene. This is a PB60 with a 3-star light fast rating, transparent. Look how it moves in water. Doesn't that just make you happy? It makes me happy. Blue Indanthrene, beautiful color. Rosa Gallery calls this one their bright blue, but it is a phthalo blue, PB15:3, 3-star light fast rating and transparent. Let's see how it is when it hits water. Doesn't move very much, so you have to push it along with your brush, but it is a very beautiful clear blue. This very orange tinted red, if you will, is called Flame Red. I'm fascinated with it for some reason. Don't know why. It moves pretty well in water. This is a PO73, 3-star light fast rating, and fully transparent, and absolutely gorgeous. If I had to choose just one color out of this whole set, this one would be a contender as a favorite. This is Bright Red, PO73, moves so good in water. Also has PR254 in it, one of my favorite pigments, 3-star light fast rating, and fully transparent. This bright red is so pretty. This next one, Cadmium Red Medium, uses the typical cadmium red color, PR108, I should say pigment, not color, 3-star light fast rating, highly granulating, semi-transparent, and it's a good contender for a red as well. I quite like it. Now we have the not quite new to me color, Magenta Rose, because I had this in a partial half pan. This is a PR122 pigment, 3-star light fast rating, fully transparent, moves really beautifully in water, and is actually a gorgeous pigment, a gorgeous violet color. Well, what do you call that? Magenta color, I guess. I guess that's why it's called Magenta Rose. I'm so brilliant. Not. Following that up with Mars Brown. And this one is really unique. PY42, PR101, and a PBK7, which is interesting because I would say this leans more green than black, but I also haven't tried it in a full painting yet. Just gorgeous. I'm fascinated with this Mars Brown. Can't even tell you why, but I'll paint with it and then maybe I'll let you know. 3-star light fast rating and fully transparent. Did I say that already? Sorry if I did. This next one here is Burnt Umber, and this is a PBR7 with a 3-star light fast rating, semi-transparent, And it says it's highly granulating, although to me, the Mars Brown almost looks more granulating than this one, but the Mars Brown did not say it was granulating, so there's that. We can't forget about our titanium white, PW6, 3-star light fast rating. It says it's fully opaque. Let's see how it does when it hits water. Oh, I just had to pause there because it was so beautiful. Look at that, moves really nicely in water. And it looks so opaque right now, but when it dries, it definitely loses a lot of that opaqueness, even with this second layer, but it'll be a good mixer. I swatched these out just on some cheaper cotton paper so I could scooch them around and rearrange to my heart's content. This is what these look like dry. And we can take the tape off. This tape barely stayed on during the painting process anyway. I had to keep pushing it back down. I highly recommend using the pinstriping tape instead of this stuff because the pinstriping tape definitely stays on. At least it has in my experience. These are all so beautiful. So now that I have these little swatch sheets here and this swatch sheet, I'm just going to cut this apart. No need to redo all this. Cut it apart so that I can use these like individual little cards to figure out the order of my new palette arrangement. Because I'll have to make a new swatch sheet anyway, so I might as well cut this one apart. Save myself a lot of work. So this is the order I've decided on. I love it. This is how they look in here. And the magenta rose, I accidentally opened because I was just on a roll opening these, but when I pulled out a regular full-size pan, you can see they're just way too different in their sizing. So I don't want a full pan in there. So I will use this original size pan and then just keep this for refills. It's pretty soft in there so far, so I think we'll be good for a while, although it takes a long time to go through a pan of watercolor. Even if I need to cut this open in the future, that's okay. But I can also refill this little half pan with some of it and use that maybe in a mixed palette, which would be fun. So I will adhere these to this bottom sheet in some way. I'll tell you how when I figure it out. I have a lot of options. Also, if you didn't want to pull the metal brackets off of your bottom platform there, then you could just get a piece of paper, like white paper, send it through a laminator with a thick laminating sheet and put that on the bottom, and that would probably be thick enough to give you a flat surface to adhere these to, and you could keep your metal pan and all of that intact if you wanted to for some reason. But isn't this beautiful? I'll have to do the hard work of creating a new swatch sheet, but I'm not gonna have you sit through that. Now what I'm going to do with all of the leftovers, which is so exciting, is create a watercolor palette for Riley's girlfriend, because Tori, who is my middle son's girlfriend, I gave her a nice watercolor set, although we do still need to add some colors in hers. I gave my oldest son's wife a very nice watercolor set that's fully complete, and Riley's girlfriend needs one now as well. And since this watercolor is really good and very affordable, I figured I would set up this palette for her. But I'm not going to give her like all the colors, because I am going to keep spares of certain colors for myself, so I will show you that here. Here are the beautiful stacks of paint, so you can see by the stacks which are multiples, and we'll pull off those multiples and set up a good palette for her. So these are all the colors she would end up with, and I think it is okay. The problem I see, if it were me, I would like to have an actual red, because you get a carmine and it's showing up more red in the camera than it actually is. This is a very magenta leaning red, has a lot of purple tones to it, but this one obviously is the purple toned red, if you will. It's magenta rose. So having an actual red would be super nice. Something like one of these two down here, because you can see how much different these two are than an actual red. And then I tried getting an orange by mixing these two colors together, the carmine and the cad yellow deep, and it's a very burnt orange, and it would be super nice probably for her to have just a convenience orange. Now, Riley's girlfriend is a really accomplished acrylic artist, and she says she wants to get more into watercolors, And I think she could pick it up really quickly, so mixing colors for her and all of that is not a problem. It's just, if I'm gonna set up a palette, I want it done right. So what I might do is just give her an actual red, one with PR254 in it, because that's my absolute favorite, or possibly a cadmium red light, I don't know. But I really like the ones with the PR254. Give her an actual orange, and then I think she'll be set because all these other colors look perfect. There's not really any kind of phthalo blue in here or anything like that, but I think she could get away without it. Having cobalt blue, ultramarine, and like emerald green, she could make some pretty good colors there, and indigo. I'll make those decisions and let you know in just a second. Here are the lovely colors I chose for her. I chose to give her a cadmium orange and a cadmium red medium, which means I don't have spares of those two colors, but that's okay. I wanted to give her the bright red desperately, but I don't have an extra bright red, so I don't even have a spare for my own self. So the only bright red that exists is in my big palette now. So the cadmium red medium right here is the second alternative, and between the two oranges I gave her the more orange colored one as opposed to one with the little bit more red in it. Even though this on its own, without these around it, does look very orange, it just looks like cadmium orange is a better fit for orange. She does watch my videos, so this won't be a surprise for her, but that's okay. Early Christmas gift, and now she just has to get more confident with watercoloring and she'll be set. I should probably send her some watercolor paper too, I think I will. So I wish I had more cobalt turquoise to put in here, but I don't. At least she'll get to try it, and she can buy her own pan if she ends up using all of that up. So I'm going to leave these unwrapped so she can enjoy that process, but I will put them in here in that order, and then I'll make a swatch sheet for her just in case she doesn't have, I don't know, the knowledge or the ability to laminate a swatch sheet. I'll go ahead and put that in there for her. And here are the palettes all done. They are so darn pretty. These are the colors that had triplicates. Cadmium lemon, cadmium yellow light, violet, ultramarine, ultramarine green, and umber. So I'll probably just add those in with the other spares. They're colors that I'll probably actually go through a lot, except I have so many palettes I'll probably never actually go through them, but whatever, we'll see. This pile over here is going in a Ziploc and will be added to my spares tub for watercolor, which so far is just a tub this size. It's not very big, so all my watercolors fit in their tubes, and extra watercolors, I should say, not my palettes. That's a whole different story. We're not going to talk about that. So this is for Riley's girlfriend. I put all the pigment information on the back. It's laminated, so as long as she doesn't want to change the order, she's set. But I just took a chance that she would take the order that I put them in and go with it. But we'll see, we'll see. And my palette sheet, I have 39 out of the 60 colors they make, and that makes me very happy. This is all the colors a person would need. I don't need the others. I wouldn't mind having them, but I don't need them. And I did attach these all to the bottom, so if I tip this over, nothing moves, nothing falls out, and it's beautiful. So that is Rosa Gallery in a nutshell. I do have a quick update for you though on this thing, because this, let me turn the light on. So when I showed you this last, I was leaving for a trip and I couldn't get it shut, but I did get it shut. And I did that by sticking this pencil clear over to the right side. My eraser's in there. It's hard to get out sometimes because it went really down deep in there. But by just putting the eraser here, the pencil over here, and I do have to clip the pencil's clip over there because there's a hole in the bottom of this, and I did have the pencil fall out one time on me. And then this is the watercolor sketchbook this comes with, which I didn't get a chance to use on my trip. My Inktober sketchbook, which I have been working in but not finishing up things yet. But then it closes by just making this more flat right there. However, well, let me just prove to you again, even though you saw in the beginning that it was closed, it closes. And just to be safe, you can still put this clip up there and have it like that. But I did get a tip from one of you that when it's too full to close using it like that, she tucks the flap in like this and then pulls this strap across the back. And I thought that was absolutely genius. I mean, it's a simple thing that you'd think we would all think of, but you know what? We don't. And that's why we need other people in our lives. So very cool, but I did get it to close as was. And I've been taking this with me to class because once in a while I have a couple minutes here and there to work on my Inktober stuff. Still, I think 2 days behind, but that's not too bad. Other than inking, I haven't inked, but I'm just glad to get things sketched, I tell ya. I'll probably show that all to you next week. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. It was so fun to play with these. I know we didn't get to do a painting, but I am painting with these this weekend, and I'll film that for you guys so you can kind of see how they act. I'll be painting on Arches paper, so it should be a really good test of them again. It's been a while since I've used them, but I did use them when I painted that squirrel, but I was painting on that horrible paper and ended up switching. Well, it's not horrible paper. It just wasn't the right paper for that squirrel project. So I ended up switching over to gouache on that one. So yeah, this will be a good test of these watercolors again. It's been a while. And they're so pretty, and I love they're all full pans, and I'm just excited for the painting in general. Well, thanks so much for joining me. This was a lot of busy work, but it's busy work that is right up my alley. I very much enjoy putting palettes together and getting it all figured out. It is one of the most fun things that I like to do. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. So I don't have magnet strips or anything, which would be really handy to put on the backs of these. I have magnets, but magnets, the ones I have, aren't very strong. So I was thinking of using the double-sided sticky tape that I use in a lot of my palettes, but that does take a lot of work too. Or I can just use the not very strong magnets that I have and deal with it, maybe replace them as I need to. Or you don't even need to know any of that, so I'll probably just cut all that out. That's a wrap. She's watching my mouth. Check it out. So funny.